Hello, and welcome to another edition of Stats in Tech, where we cover technology used in the statistics course that you may be enrolled in. So today we're going to go over sample standard deviation of a frequency distribution. Standard deviation of a frequency distribution. So frequency distribution, just as a reminder, it is when you have a class or a list of data entries, but you have frequencies with them. So they're grouped together. So group data or frequency distribution is when your data is grouped in a way that we can't see them individually. All right, so we're going to calculate the sample standard deviation when you have frequency distribution or group data. So first we covered in the Excel video that we actually have to create midpoints to represent our classes. So to do that, you're going to take your lower class limit plus upper class limit, divide by 2. See, I have it in this cell right here. And we're going to be doing this with our calculator. Okay, so here we are in our calculator with the frequency distribution, trying to find the sample standard deviation. And I'm going to enter my data into my stat, edit. We're going to put our midpoints in L1 and then our frequency in L2. You want to go to that previous screen to see where I'm getting these numbers from. So 27 was our first midpoint, 32, 37. We added the lower class limit plus the upper class limit divided by 2 to get these numbers. Then I noticed the class width was a width of 5. So I'm just adding 5 now to my midpoints. So between here and here is 5. Here and here is 5. Here and here, so just added 5 to get those midpoints. Let me put in my frequencies. 1, 4, 9, 6, 3, and 1. Again, I got this from the previous. All right, so we have our midpoints in and our frequency. So I'm going to back out of the screen. So we're going to go second mode to get out. See where my cursor is, second mode. To quit, that's what we just did. We're going back to stats. So I know you have to go in and put your data in, then back out, and then go back into stats. Okay, that's the rule. We're going over to calc. I'm going to hit number 1 or enter. So my list, I have a L1. Frequency list, yours might be clear. Okay, so don't clear it if it's not clear. It might be clear. If it's clear, you want to put second number 2 in there to put your frequency list. So now you have to be careful. If all of your data, your original data you see, you put into your calculator, you just have your L1 and the frequency list is clear. But if you have a frequency list, you have to tell the calculator you have a frequency list. All right, because if not, if you forget this, it's still going to give you an answer. It's just going to calculate your midpoints. So make sure if you have something in L2, you tell the calculator to go pull my L1 and my L2. Okay, so we're going to hit calculate. And then there's our sample standard deviation. There's population standard deviation, sample standard deviation. All right, so if you have to find variance for some odd reason, so to find variance, you want to take your standard deviation, either one, whichever one you're working with. I would take out to maybe 4 decimal places and square it for variance. So standard deviation, this is it. If the standard deviation is all you want to find of your frequency distribution, then we're done. But if you have to find variance for some odd reason, I'm going to take 5.8630. I'm not going to round this. I'm just going to take those digits, 5.8630, 5.8360, however many decimals you want to take out. I'm going to square it, and that gives me my variance. Okay, so if you're working with Microsoft Excel or working these out manually, you have to find your variance first, and then you find your standard deviation. But if you're working with the calculator, you're going to find your standard deviation first, square it to get your variance. All right, until next time.